every time they open that, it blows.
I think it's a heater for the winter.
Oh.
Well, it's right around, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Woohoo! Party time, Charis, huh? We're gonna go for a party today?
We're waiting on the party. The party king.
Hey, baby. Hey, keeper. You
She
my
doesn't
little
act
cutie
like she feels bad. I mean, but she is normally, like,
Yeah,
yesterday I noticed she was a little more fussy
pie.
than. Usually she'll take a nap a
You're
lot
the
easier in the
apple
car.
of my eye. My little cutie pie. She pulled herself up there.
All right.
I was pretty
Another
impressed.
benchmark.
Yeah.
That's what it's all about.
She's been doing it on a few things, but I was pretty surprised she did it on that, because that's not real.
Here we go. Okay. Charis, your ship has come in.
Hi.
The carousel is no good because it's just going in circles like religion, dead religion. So that's right. We don't like that.
Yeah, which I thought she liked that with all the lights. I don't think she liked the sensation of going. I get sick on it.
Out here in the American West, and they did a pretty darn good job of it. They worked their railroad workers all through the winter, 3 shifts round the clock on that hotel, except for the month of February, where temperatures were consistently about 50 below. So it's a little too chilly to work. Had that hotel finished and dedicated in just 1 year, July 4th of 1915. Cost them $500 grand to build it originally, but undergone a lot of renovations since then. Undergonna go some renovations the next 2 years. They got about $20 million from that stimulus fund to spruce it up. So next year they're gonna shut down half
right
the
under the
rooms.
road.
Year after that, the other half. Should be pretty. Our caretaker actually stays there. If you're kind of thinking of The Shining, well, it is rumored that Stephen King did stay here before he wrote that book. Maybe you heard the boat tour spiel about how the ocean. Anyone? Atlantic? Brave souls. It's actually the Arctic. We're north of the Hudson Bay line. That's that low ridge that you see when you head down south on 89 towards St. Mary's. That's the Hudson Bay line. And that actually runs straight back into the park.
That was the story that Stephen King stayed here before he wrote the Tragedy.
We do have all 3 watersheds in the park, Pacific, Arctic, and Atlantic. And there's actually one mountain called Triple Divide Peak that has all those 3 watersheds on it. Pretty remarkable. Name some of these mountains off to the right side. The tallest one is called Mount Wilbur. Just in front of that is Bullhead Point. It was blowing so hard it actually blew water up onto the first story of the hotel. So they were a little concerned about seeing smoke and flames. They should have been. Within 45 minutes, the fire was at the lake. It's about 5 miles that it went, just roaring across the treetops. A crown fire is what they call that. Evacuating out all the passengers on the jammer, drivers, all the hotel employees, burned up the Swift Current motor inn, burned up about 12 chalets, coming real close to the hotel. Well, they had weekly fire drills, so they roll out these big fire hoses, fire cannons on these big wheeled structures, attach a bunch of them to the balcony, running around on the rooftops, knocking out all the embers, and they fought the fire well into the night, and actually the winds turned and burned it back on itself. So they put out the fire, and they were all pretty proud of themselves, and they sent a telegram off to the owner of the Great Northern Railroad saying, devastating fire, motor inn gone, chalets gone, but we saved the hotel. And it took a few days for that owner to write back, but when he did, he sent back a 1-word reply. Why? Why did you save the hotel? It wasn't being, very thankful, I guess. He's actually just a businessman. It was the Great Depression, spending a lot of money, hundreds of thousands of dollars every year on these hotels. No one would come up. He was hoping everything would burn to the ground, collect all that insurance money, of course. be done with that messy tourism business and on to greater things. Decisions, we just let Mother Nature run our course, and we do have, in my opinion, my humble opinion, we have way healthier flora and fauna than we do in our national forest, because we do take a hands-off approach. Just let it happen, right? You know, like Mother Nature should be able to correct herself. But check out the forest, definitely, if you're into trees and ecology. Check out how it's just constantly changing around us, and we're kind of...
Ito, Joe. You build the line. Okay,
Anything pop up into your mind?
How did they get the boat up here?
How'd they get the boat up here?
You know what? I hate to call you typical, but that is usually the first question we get. I mean, it's a great story, so I'll tell it. But do you have any guesses? Anyone? How would you get the boat over here?
Helicopter.
If we had the funds, that would be awesome. We didn't quite have the funds for that. Originally they built it here. That would have been smart, yeah. These boats were locally built. This one was built in 1928 by a shipbuilder in the area. But anyway, they originally brought it in on an old logging road, but that of course is not the story that I want to tell you. The story that I want to tell you comes when in 1975 the boathouse was in a little different area to the left of our dock, well, to my left of the dock, so you're right of the dock, and one winter in 1975, a big avalanche came down, this beautiful avalanche chute here. Someone put the boathouse in the wrong place, and the avalanche came down, ruined the boathouse, pushed this boat into the middle of the lake, tore it into two pieces. The roof had come off. Two rangers came by that winter and told the boat company that something was wrong with their boat. So they took it out on sleds that year. It was easy enough to do. Took Kalispell to get some repairs, but come springtime they had the dilemma of how to bring it up here because the logging road no longer existed, they couldn't sled it, and we didn't have the funds for a helicopter, but we did have the funds to hire 6 young college boys. And so we had them portage it up this creek over here, and in the spring water, the water is freezing cold. It's about 30 degrees, ice going down. This boat needs maybe 4 feet to float, and that creek is 3 to 6 feet deep, and it took them 10 days to block and tackle this boat up the creek over here. I don't know how long I would have lasted if that was my first job here at the boat company, but what do you suppose could have motivated those boys? Not money. We've already been through the fact that we didn't have much money. They're college boys.
Any money is good.
Women?
Women!
There weren't all that many women up here in 1975. They didn't hire women at that time. That's the other thing.
I'm sorry, Rock. Please forgive me for that outburst.
The owner knew exactly what was going on through those guys' heads, and he placed a keg at the end of the dock and said, boys, when you get it there, you can have it. So, when the Morning Eagle got over there, they had themselves a party at the end of the dock, and then the next morning they all quit. Hide nor hair of them was to be found. And that is the epic saga of how the Morning Eagle got on the glacier. The Grinnell Glacier, as it's receding, is leaving a lake in its wake, and it's right under those cliffs of Salamander. You cannot see the ice of the glacier, of Grinnell Glacier, but you can if you hike about 2.5 miles up the Grinnell Glacier Trail from our boat dock. Those double waterfalls that you see falling down, those are Grinnell Falls, and that is the runoff from both of those glaciers there. And those glaciers are sitting on the Continental Divide, so you're about 2 steps away, which was kind of revolutionary at the time. But by barbing trees, by putting kind of barbs around trees where bears would like to rub their back, and then they'd collect the hair samples, the DNA, and count the bears that way. And they found out a lot of different things. They counted the bears, of course, but they also discovered that some of the bears here in Glacier Park have relatives in Yellowstone, meaning that the grizzly bears especially are moving back to the prairies where their species once originated. Grizzly bears are from from the prairie, which is why they have such a big hump on their back. It's because and they're also faster runners than black bears, because in the prairie they needed to run faster to get after prey, and they also needed to dig for roots, and that was their main protein, digging for bugs and grubs and everything like that. And that's why black bears are the ones that can climb trees, is because they are from the forest where they learn to do that. His bear. I am not entirely sure where, but the bear and the two cubs have been sighted on the Grinnell Glacier Trail, and they had to close the trail because of the Jack Hanna bears not too long ago. But I haven't heard about the Jack Hanna bears for a couple weeks, so sorry I don't know exactly that. Does anyone know where he sprayed it? Okay. Sedimentation went to the bottom of the sea, the pressure made all the rock, and if you see in all of these mountains, you're going to notice lots of different layers and different colors of rock. And that was the silt stage. So after silt, we have tilt, and that was the tectonic movement. Here in Glacier Park, we have something special called the Lewis overthrust, where part of the Pacific plate broke off and went up and over the North American plate. So the older rock is actually over the newer rock in this area. And as you're driving out of the Many Glacier Valley, look to the mountains on your left side of the road. You can maybe see them out of the back windows right now, but they're all tilted.
Yeah. It's so pretty, huh? Yeah.
Working that bush over.
Yeah, he looks like
he has some huckleberries up there.
looks like a cub.
It does look like a cub.
Distance for me.
And you say there's another one up there?
No,
No, that's the only one then. You say.
it's the only one we're looking at. He's rooting away there.
What?
Clouds, wispy clouds moving across the peak. We've got binoculars, you guys. You want to look through the binocs?
Yeah.
Cute black bear, like cub. Long. Grizzly, right?
Yeah, it's got a little hump on it.
Try the
No, go ahead, hon. Let me get some video.
Yeah, you're right. I think it's a young grizzly. He's starting to get a little silver tip look on his back, fur on the top of his back. His rump is still brown.
How far is the mom usually? Is she pretty like...
He might be big enough to be on his own. But
Really?
Hey, yeah, you're right. That's a grizzly. Yeah, he's growing his silver tips, and he's got a snout and a hump started. So he's a young one.
Hey, baby.
Like Rocky always says, we'll start getting in the area where it looks like all the mountains are meringue.
Oh, yeah. Charis is like, what's the big deal? Didn't we sleep by this the other night? Huh? Oh, I saw this the other day. It's a big mountain.